This map sucks for roulette. Don't play it. Alright, I'm kidding. Whatever. We're in, welcome to, episode 16 of What is Hitman Roulette. Today we're going to be talking about Dartmoor. Okay, well, let me just get one thing out of the way before we even step into this any further. As a map itself, okay? I don't want everybody to be all like, oh, Buff hates Dartmoor, Dartmoor's trash. You know, he thinks it's garbage, but it's actually a great map when you actually play. No. I think it is a fun map. It has interesting things about it, especially your first time playing it, okay? But once you've played it through your first time and you've done the whodunit aspect of the map, it starts to get a bit boring pretty quick. Okay, so that's just the way it is. There's only one target. The side objective is really simple to get. All you need to do is either get the frickin' case file from the safe or get the 2 tokens from the butler and Rebecca. That's it. The map itself is super small. There's not a whole lot going on in the map. I don't think it's any bigger than a map maybe like Wilton Creek. It's very, very tiny. So going into it about roulettes in this map are more or less garbage. There is no other way to put it. Roulette in this map is trash. Just because not only does it have only one target, but every single time you do a spin for this target, you're going to be getting her in basically the exact same area, either in the hallway outside of her office or in her office itself. That's it. And the case file is almost always the side objective you're going to be going for. Rarely will we see players going for the tokens, just because the case file happens to be right beside where you take out Alexa. So there is no reason to traverse this map very much. Everything that you need for this map is more or less right outside the back entrance of the mansion and right in the back area of the mansion itself, period. You'll probably never see the front of the mansion really at all unless you're doing this map for the first time. So it's already cutting off a large portion of a map that's just naturally small to begin with. Every single spin in this map is going to be guaranteed less than 3 minutes, unless you're doing something ridiculously uncommon, like, I don't know, Undertaker's saber. Then maybe I could see a spin going past 3 minutes, but even then, it's like such an easy-ass spin. Undertaker's saber still only takes about 3.5 minutes tops, so there really isn't much going on with these spins. Getting this map in a tournament, in a competition with your opponent, you can guarantee it's going to be over pretty quick. If you rip one time, that's basically a GG, and you basically lose the match to your opponent every time. That's just how it is. Dartmoor is a very unforgiving map as far as tournaments are concerned. As far as adminning it, or shoutcasting it, or viewing it in a match when 2 players are playing it, nobody likes it. It's pretty much a universal thing in the community. Nobody likes watching this map for roulette. There's only a couple of people I've ever run into in the community that actually advocate for this map for roulettes. Other than that, it's pretty much universal that this map is trash. The main reason I have a problem with it as far as roulette is concerned is because creativity is basically out the window when it comes to this map. There is no exploration, there is no creativity, and those are 2 major things that I personally really enjoy about roulette and the entire concept therein. However, when that's completely removed as a concept from a map, it really shows and it really starts to suffer. The map quality takes a huge nosedive, and you get something like Dartmoor. So, by far the worst map in the entire trilogy as far as roulette's concerned, but still not a map I hate. I don't hate any map in the franchise, except for one that we'll talk about later on down the road. I'm more or less disappointed in Dartmoor. This map is a big missed opportunity because it immediately reminds you of Beldingford Manor from Hitman Contracts, if you've ever played the older games, if you're a seasoned vet. It's an obvious harken back to that mission, which is a fantastic map from Hitman Contracts, but it just ends up kind of dropping the ball and not being as interesting as it could have been. So, anyways, let's move on to the starting locations and carry on from there. Starting location of this map, all of them. There you go. The only starting location you're almost never going to see is front of the mansion, basically default. Other than that, every other starting location is usable. There is no reason to not use any of them. All of them are viable. If you see any disguise pop up in a spin that happens to be a set starting location disguise, that's the starting location that you're going to use for that spin, because again, it's a one-target map. So much like New York, every time you see a spin, it's going to be certain disguise with certain kill method for Alexa, and that's it. Unless a specific disguise is needed for the kill, and you're not able to start in that disguise, you'll almost never need to swap disguises before you make the kill. It's that simple. Dartmoor is Dartmoor. It's boring in every aspect, so let's just move on to the target isolations. target isolations. Starting off with the isolation for Alexa, if you were to start either suit or gardener, or if photographer or Undertaker is used for the disguise required for the kill, you would start in the back entrance of the mansion, of course, and then you would head straight towards the mansion, climb up the stairs, and head towards where this drainage pipe is, and head up the pipe. Go through the window at the top, enter the bathroom there, and go straight. Take a left outside of the bathroom door, and keep heading straight until you enter a separate room just past the chandelier room here, and there will be a window on your left that you need to climb out. Once you get out that window, you're going to climb up this second drainage pipe, and that's going to take you up to the floor where you're going to isolate Alexa inside of her office. Now, there are 4 bodyguards in here, but fortunately, this is a one-target map, so you'll always have more than enough room to bring a couple of tranks and a snail, or even just one trank and a snail is usually all you need to deal with these guys. Trank the guy furthest away from you that's just standing put. Alexa will be heading in with her own personal bodyguard inside of her panic room there. And the other 2 guys standing beside the other glass door on the side there, just throw a snail to those guys or trank them if you have enough resources with your darts. And then take the last guy out either with KO means, with a crowbar or throwing object or whatever the hell. Or if you have an extra dart, that's cool too. And then just KO Alexa either inside of her panic room, which also happens to be a soundproof room, great for loud ballistic kills. Really, you can just KO her at any time in this room once all 4 guards are taken out, so it's no big deal. And that's that. First isolation done. Really, there's only 2 isolation methods for Alexa, and here we'll go on to the second one. The second and most common isolation spot for Alexa is in the hallway right outside of where her office is, if you're able to start in a disguise like personal investigator or mansion staff, etc. and so forth. Really, all it is a matter of catching up to Alexa as she's heading up the stairs, so just keep an eye on your instinct and figure out exactly where she's going. It's not that hard to figure out. It's pretty much the exact same thing as the first isolation. You're going to isolate her by knocking out 4 NPCs and then knocking her out and dealing with her by any means necessary. Firstly, by tranking the guard that's at the very, very top of the stairs once Alexa and her main guard passes him. Once he's tranked, you can trank the maid straight ahead of you at the very, very end of the hallway, and then trank the guard that's talking to the maid there. That's going to cause Alexa to start panicking and wondering what the hell's going on. Then trank or KO her bodyguard behind her, and then deal with Alexa. I do recommend closing these side doors here where their mansion staff guys are hanging out. There's a mansion staff guy and girl inside that area, and they can potentially see the body, which is not a good thing, obviously, so close the door, do your thing with Alexa, and then go grab the case file and get the hell out of the map. That's all there is to it for this isolation. Now, the side objectives are very simple, both of them. There's 2 methods to do it. It's not that hard. The first one is obviously the case file that's within her safe behind the painting in her office. All you need to do is trigger the painting to move so that it reveals the safe behind it by pressing the button that's just on her chair at her main desk there, and then typing in the code 1975, grabbing the case file, and jumping out the balcony. That's the glitched portion of the balcony on the left side of the balcony, right by the leftmost girder. All you need to do for that jump glitch thing to work is just hug the girder as close to it as you possibly can when you go to vault over the ledge, and it will actually glitch and you'll be able to just drop down with no fall damage whatsoever, because there's no fall damage in this game, so that's awesome. Everybody should know that, but I thought I'd fill you in anyways. And then for the tokens, all you need to do is get them from Rebecca and the butler. You just need to bring a trank with you for this, so it does require resources. Rebecca is located in the room where there is a camine. I can't remember the English translation for that right now, and I'm too lazy to look it up, so I'm just going to post it right here. Once you've tranked Rebecca, grab the token that she's carrying and then head over to the butler. He's just hanging out by the front entrance of the mansion. Get over to him, trank him, grab his token, and then exit the map. That's really all there is to it. These side objectives are a joke, but, you know, it's Dartmoor, so it goes along just fine with the theme of the whole map. Alright, and moving on to the disguises. So there are only 8 total disguises on this map, and all of them are ridiculously easy to get one way or another, just because you're either starting in the disguise that you need, or you're finding it in the map, and they're all very easy to get in the map. The first one being the Bodyguard. Is there really anything to say about this one? Just grab one of the bodyguards that you tranked when you were isolating Alexa. Simple as that. Odds are you're going to grab this disguise when you get out of the map anyways, so just grab it before you kill her. There you go. That's the only difference. Wouldn't that fun? Nope. Next up, we have the Gardener. Just start Gardener. There you go. Done. Now, I guess if you want to obtain the disguise on the map, even though this is completely not at all like New York, sometimes, very, very seldom, you will actually be needing to get the disguise post starting the map in New York, even if the disguise is a potential starting location. This is not the case with Dartmoor. You're almost always going to be starting in the disguise required for the spin, if the spin requires a disguise that is available at a starting spot. It's as simple as that. So don't even bother getting this freaking disguise, or any disguise that you're able to start in. But if you're a nutcase, I guess just get this gardener here that's hanging out by this patrolling mansion guard, raking up this hedge maze right here. That's as simple as that. He's kind of located on the left side if you're facing the mansion from the greenhouse area, and that's all there is to it. Just make sure the mansion guard has his back to you when you go to take this disguise. The lawyer is one disguise that you'll need to get post starting the map, so that's not so bad. It adds a little bit of fun for this one. Start personal investigator, get outside the doors straight ahead of you, and then enter this next room here. There's the lawyer sitting at his desk. Just trank the bodyguard and then take out the lawyer with a KO object or whatever. Swap disguises, and that's all there is to it. Where you go. Mansion Guard is another disguise I 100% recommend starting in if you do see it in a spin. But if you're nuts, go down to the back entrance of the mansion and kind of where the greenhouse is. There are multiple mansion guards walking around there that you can take. Pretty much any of them you can trank out in the open and just leave them there. Their bodies will almost never be found as the patrols around here are pretty limited. So I just picked a random mansion guard here and it worked just fine. So just do that and away you go. That's all there is to it. For the mansion staff, there's one lone mansion staff hanging out sort of where the photographer is, right in the back area of the mansion, right outside where the patrolling mansion guards are and everything. Just trank this guy, grab his clothes, and you can just leave him out here in the open. No one's going to see you do this. No one's going to see anything for a while because, again, like I said, the patrols in this area are really limited. The photographer is pretty much the only NPC that could potentially see his body if the photographer is still conscious, so whatever. Otherwise, again, please just start mansion staff. This is actually one of the better starting spots on the map, too, so why the hell would you even bother getting this disguise? It's a complete waste of time. Just start mansion staff. Speaking of the photographer though, if you were to say start gardener, head up to this radio here and turn it on, then immediately turn it off. It's going to grab the attention of the photographer. This is actually a really forgiving disguise to get because all you need is just a KOable item. Throw something at his head when he goes to investigate the radio and take his clothes. That's it. You have the option to box him here, but you don't need to. His body's completely safe. Take his clothes and get the hell out of there. The private investigator is a unique disguise and a complete and absolute nightmare to try to get if you're going to need it for a spin. So, there is no question about this one. The other ones, you can argue you don't need to start in them, but you still should 100%. This disguise, however, is probably the best starting location on the map and the single worst disguise to try to get for a spin. So what the hell? There is no reason to ever get this disguise. Don't even think about getting this freaking disguise if it pops up. Just start PI and do the frickin' spin in sub 2 minutes as you're about to do. It's not that freaking hard. But if you're a nutcase and you want to start default location, you're going to head over to this area in this bush right here that I just showed on screen, and you're going to wait for the private investigator to walk by you. Once it gets kind of close, throw a frickin' briefcase or some stupid shit, and then as soon as the PI sees you, you're going to peekaboo him into the bush. Once he's in there, trank him, change clothes, and that's it. PI's taken. But again, what the hell? By the time you get this frickin' disguise, most people would be done Dartmoor spins if they needed it this frickin' disguise for that spin. So just do yourself a favor, start as the PI. This is a no-brainer, and there is no argument to be made here for this at all. And finally, the Undertaker. Another unique disguise that you're not able to start in, so I would suggest maybe starting Gardener and then heading over to the graveyard over here. This graveyard is a little bit off to where you would normally play the map. It's a little bit off the beaten path, which is kind of nice because it allows for a little bit more traversal in the map, so when Undertaker comes up, I get a bit of a smile on my face because I know the spin is going to be at least somewhat interesting. Just trank the Undertaker as soon as you see him in the graveyard here, take his clothes, and get the hell out of there. That's all there is to it. And then at that point, you're going to use the method to enter the mansion as if you were to start suit. So just keep that in mind when you go to isolate Alexa. Alright, and that covers all 8 disguises. So there you go. Even the amount of disguises on this map are severely lacking. It has 8 disguises. What a joke. 4 of which you're allowed to start the map already dressed in that disguise, so it completely mitigates any challenge at all in trying to get that disguise. Because if there are only 8 disguises on a map, and you don't require any strategy or map knowledge at all in order to obtain 4 of them, because you can just start in that disguise, that just takes away a lot of the map's potential fun aspect as well. So this map is really a head scratcher in terms of Roulette. Of course, the devs didn't really design the game around Roulette. Roulette is kind of a fan-made thing, in a sense. Although the devs have more or less become more accustomed to the concept of Roulette and accepted it into the game as part of their creation. But it's still more or less a community-created thing. However, that being said, I really hope the devs learn something from this in the future and don't create any more maps like Dartmoor because Roulettes can really suffer from it. Anyways, we will move on now to the spin demonstration, which will be obviously a super quick one. Let's see what we got. Alright, and the spin we have is pretty interesting for a Dartmoor spin. I kind of like this one. We've got Alexa must be killed with fiber wire dressed as the Undertaker. So, pretty straightforward spin as all Dartmoor spins are, but this one adds a little bit more intrigue, and we're going to have to hustle a little bit because she leaves her office at about 1:50, 1:55, and it takes a bit to get into the map, go over to the Undertaker, take him out, and then head up to Alexa's office in time. And plus, this kill needs to be live, so we can't even isolate her. So this is a pretty interesting one. It might actually be one of the more interesting spins I've seen. I'm opting to start Gardener here, obviously. We're going to bring a couple of tranks with us. We're going to bring a snail for shits and giggles. It's probably going to help us out quite a bit here. And we're going to bring a fiber wire, obviously, for the kill. Let's see how we do. This should be easily a one and done. All right, so we're getting the Undertaker straight away, obviously. Opting, obviously, to start Gardener here because this is the best starting location for this particular disguise. I love this kind of a thing here. We got a live kill for Alexa, and Undertaker disguise is probably my favorite disguise for this map because it actually provides somewhat of intrigue in getting it most of the time. Obviously not if you start right off the bat and go for him immediately because he's always just hanging out in this exact spot here if you start Gardener. And it's never it's never hard to get him anyways, so. But it's always a good time seeing him in a spin, and Alexa live kill is probably the most challenging way to do it. So, yeah, great that we're seeing nothing but interesting spins. Just watch my favorite map, Berlin, be a total shit show of a spin, and a Rolf or some garbage shit like that. That would be really poetic considering how pretty much this entire series has been interesting spin after interesting spin. We haven't had a single snore fest except for maybe Paris. So, this is nice. I'm liking this. Anyways, like I said before, we're heading up to the Alexa spot as if we were to start suit. So, get up this drainage pipe. I can't believe I'm commentating a friggin' Dartmoor spin, man. I feel like I'm shoutcasting a tournament match right now. And I'm trying really hard not to fall asleep. So, I don't know. Yeah, just, I don't know, you guys try to entertain me to keep me awake or something. Oh, wait, I'm not live. There's no chat. Fuck. All right, whatever, no problem. Okay, we're getting up to Alexa. Okay, here's the fun shit. We're going to trank this guard right ahead of us, as you're supposed to. Trank his ass, put him to bed. Nice. Freaking bullseyes. And then we're going to use the snail to knock these pricks out. And then we're going to screw everything up a few times, miss a couple of times, because why the hell not? Yeah, there we go. Just missed our one trank. And we went to shoot again, and we ended up not having any tranks left, so we're just going to shoot it with that one. Perfect that we did have that spare trank, because that guy actually just woke up, and we were behind the table, so he didn't see us throw that crowbar at his face, which is perfect. Alexa started freaking out. We got red guns, but we killed her with the fiber wire. And man, everything's just happened so fast, I can't even freaking keep up with this shit. But there you go. See that? That's controller aiming bullshit. I just screwed up the code. You know what? Me screwing up that code probably would have cost me the match. I'm not kidding. That's this map in a tournament, dude. It's over so friggin' quick, and every split second counts. If you load in slower than your opponent, you lose. That's it. So, anyways, that's it. Interesting spin, as much as it is. I mean, such as it is. There's the hearse keys we're grabbing there, and there's the hearse exit. And that's it, man. Easy peasy, squeeze your lemons. Wasn't that the fastest spin we've done so far in the series? Or maybe, no, probably the second fastest. Yeah, Paris was quicker than this, but there you go. 2 minutes 50, which is by far the longest spin I have seen in Dartmoor, probably ever. And you know what? That was pretty good. As far as Dartmoor spins are concerned, that one wasn't too bad. That was it's fine, I guess. Oh fuck. Oh shit. All right. And that about does it for Dartmoor. So. Again, like I said, not the greatest map to play roulettes in, but some of them can be pretty quick and easy, and that's always satisfying if you're a newer player to the roulette scheme. But as far as roulettes are concerned, for newer players, I highly recommend you kind of avoid this one. By that I mean, obviously practice it and get good at it, but don't marry this map. Don't just stay put in Dartmoor and do roulette spins over and over again, because roulette is very different from map to map, and I feel that Dartmoor does not represent roulette at its best, really, at all. So your performance is just going to hinder if you just play Dartmoor, maybe a couple other maps, and that's it. As soon as you step into something really challenging like Santa Fortuna or Haven Island or something, you're really going to be up shit's creek, because Dartmoor and those maps are miles apart in terms of difficulty, and the amount of stuff that you're able to do in those maps and just the sheer knowledge gap required to be in those maps compared to Dartmoor is ridiculous. So get good at Dartmoor, practice it as best you can. Obviously you don't want to be getting destroyed by your opponent every time you do matches in this map versus them, but look at Dartmoor as a decent warm-up map for the maps that are truer representations of what Roulette can actually be in Hitman. Anyways, really appreciate everybody watching. I hope people learned something. I'm sure people didn't really learn a whole lot in this video because it is Dartmoor, but don't worry, because next time I will see you in my personal favorite map of the trilogy and what I think is the actual greatest map in the entire Hitman franchise, Berlin. I cannot wait for that video. It's going to be a bit of a different formula because there's a lot about that map that's completely separated and kind of unique specifically to that map that we're going to be talking about next time. So that's going to be a long one. And it probably won't be out for a little while after this one, so just enjoy this one for a bit and do some spins, and we will see you next time. Till then, keep rocking out and keep gaming.